Welcome, Degens, to another edition of the Degen Docs. Look, folks, it is NFL Week 3. We've got an injury rundown. We got a Thursday Night Football preview. We got our props of the week. We got an underdog play of the week, best bets, docs descriptions, and, of course, a Degen parlay. A ton of injuries to go through, a ton of football to get through. Take a second, breathe it in. What we've been waiting for all season is here, man. Football is here. And without further ado, this NFL Week 3 betting picks and fantasy tips edition of the Degen Docs on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code SGPNDOC to score up to $1,000 in bonus cash. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITMHMM. All right, folks, I'm one of your hosts here, the Degen Doc himself, but I am joined by my co-host, my brother in degeneracy, Mr. Derek Bennett. How we doing, brother?
Hey, we're doing pretty good. It sounds like you had a decent run solo on Monday.
Yeah, a married man here, folks. We come back to a married man now. Looks like hopefully things are clear. Everything, you're going to see the board. You know, look at that ring. Okay. Welcome to the club. How weird does it feel?
Honestly, today is a new day because I ordered these little silicone ones in a couple of days ago, and they just came in this afternoon. This is so much easier to wear than the other one.
Yeah, I wear the OG clunky one.
Yeah. I've been enjoying this for the last 4 or 5 hours, whenever I checked the mail earlier this afternoon. But yeah, overall, getting used to something being on my finger. But yeah, Monday, when you were recording, I jumped in real quick just to check in, make sure, everything was going okay.
You had to check on me?
Exactly. I didn't completely know how things would go without being here in front of the screen. So I wanted to check in. I may have been sitting in a hot tub with a tall boy, just chilling. So
you fucking bastard. Well, we'll give you the 2 days of a honeymoon, and now we're back and ready to give out some winners for the people. All right. Well, I heard you've got a wood story for us.
Yeah. So
what do we got there?
So for what we've been calling our mini moon, we're not going on a honeymoon until probably April, May, maybe 1st of June of 2025. But in the meantime, we went and just basically relaxed. Got a cabin out in the woods, went around, ate a lot of good food. She did a little bit of shopping, those kind of things. But I did a little bit of shopping myself. And what I bought was a nice chunk of wood. On the back of it is this nice whiskey dispenser. So this thing, I haven't figured out exactly how I'm going to mount it on the wall yet, but I've been enjoying it already. So
yeah, well, look, folks, for a little behind the scenes, Derek was telling me how excited he was to show me his wood. Immediately a little concerned. He was like, brother, you just got married, but I'm real happy to say that is a fine piece of wood there. That's a freaking awesome ass wood. Where'd you get that? In Ohio, in the woods of Ohio?
Yep, you got it. And so got a whiskey barrel stave, like the piece of wood that comes off of a barrel, and then they slapped a little spout kind of a thing to the front of it. So it's working well so far. I can't wait to continue to use it. But yeah, I have definitely been doing well over the last week or so, getting to see a lot of friends, family, wedding wise, in the sports betting realm. NFL Week 2 beat me up a little bit. Fantasy wise, going pretty well. Definitely better than this guy. I was flipping through social media on my time off, and I ran across this. And I just feel so bad for whoever this poor soul is. Drafted a pretty good looking team.
You had a good week 1.
Yeah, great week 1. Pretty solid looking team. But as many of us are finding out, week 2 beat up a lot of studs around the NFL. And hopefully your roster doesn't look like this. I actually have a couple of these dudes that I'm trying to find some replacements for currently.
Saints defense. Saints, I mean,
They've
silver
been-
lining.
They've been pretty solid. Yep. But yeah, that's a tough beat.
Yeah, no, and that leads us right into our injury talk. And folks, if you have some bad beats or some lineups that got torn to shed, absolutely drop those in the comment. Drop those on YouTube or the X, whatever it may be, and we will talk and we will pour one out for your lost souls there.
Yeah, I'll pour one out with my whiskey dispenser thing.
There you go. There you go. All right, we are going to take this off here because we are going to talk about some of these big injuries. I know this is what our bread and butter here, so let's get started. Let's start the show off with some good karma, some good vibes. So talk about two guys who should be good to go, no real concerns. Justin Jefferson and Amon-Ra St. Brown, both with quad contusions, and they're back practicing. Any concern here? What is a quad contusion?
Yeah, quad contusion typically happens if we take a shoulder pad, a helmet straight to the front of our thigh, and we're just left with this massive bruise, basically is what it is.
Yes.
It's one of those things that, it hurts like hell for the first couple of days. Everything just feels like cramped up. You're kind of walking a little bit funny, but usually we can get some soft tissue work in there, get some of those things worked out. Not too concerned with either Amon-Ra or Jay Jetta.
Yeah. No, yeah, I think both those guys should be absolutely good to go. I'm always in medical jargon, contusion is definitely one of those words that sounds so much worse than it is.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a bruise, folks. Nothing crazy.
Yep.
Another guy who should be good to go here, CeeDee Lamb. He missed practice yesterday with an ankle injury. Now he's limited in practice today. He said he has no concerns as his ankle. Are you concerned at all? Or are you going to trust CeeDee Lamb here?
Yeah, I'll trust CeeDee Lamb and the Cowboys going up this week.
Yeah, against Baltimore, which we'll see. That might be a tough matchup for them, but
that's a hell of a matchup, especially Baltimore coming off from an 0-2 start that I don't know if anybody would have seen coming.
Yep.
0-2, not a great place, but 0-3, especially when the Steelers are winning the way that they are. Baltimore's in a tough spot going down to Dallas.
Very tough spot. All right, let's get to some guys whose fortune is not so nice. I'll start us off on the defensive side just because it's a big injury, and I love to talk defense. Colts defensive tackle DeForest Buckner, a guy who has missed no games because of injury, has been put on the IR due to likely a high ankle sprain. He had x-rays. They were negative, but he was put on the IR, so he's going to miss at least 4 games. This is a Colts defense that is bleeding. I mean, they are just giving up yards on yards on yards, and that's their big guy up front. I mean, tough to be optimistic for the defense now, with that big of a loss. Now, another one, Jets defensive end, Jermaine Johnson, Achilles tear, out for the season. And hey, wouldn't it be a great time to bring in an elite pass rusher? We probably should figure out the fucking Hassan Reddick situation.
Hey, there's a guy that they have on their roster. He's just not coming.
They traded for.
I know.
I mean, like, I as a Giants fan, it's been a rough stretch. But holy shit, at least I'm not a Jets fan.
That's insane. Yeah.
All right, getting in with some more fantasy relevant guys. Let's talk Isaiah Pacheco. Got bent up, was in a walking brew after the game, clearly distraught, in tears, and fractured fibula. Report is 6 to 8 weeks. What are you thinking? He's going to be good at 6 weeks. Is this something we need to be concerned about further? What are we at?
This is definitely something to be concerned with, in my opinion. I think with a bone fracture, we've talked about this before, a minimum of 6 weeks typically for just normal bones to heal. But even after that, yes, the bones are healed, but you haven't been doing anything for a month and a half.
You can't.
Right?
You're
exactly. Exactly. You're hardly putting any weight on that leg, let alone walking normally, running, cutting, jumping, all the things that Pacheco does really well. So I think, yes, we might start to see him practicing that 6th, 7th week. I don't expect him to return until probably week 9, week 10 at the best. And even then, we may see a performance dip for a couple weeks leading into the back half of the season.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm concerned for a little bit of a high ankle sprain mechanism where the injury there, usually it can run together. Now they said there was no significant ligament damage, but I still am a little bit worried there.
Yep.
For
and it was kind of weird, like you said. We saw him leaving the stadium in a walking boot. Was not himself, obviously.
yeah.
But immediately after the game, like, he still walked off the field. Immediately after he was getting interviewed, big smile on his face, all
Yeah.
good. Goes back to the locker room.
Yeah.
That's the last we'll see of him for probably 2 months.
Wow. Yeah, I would say 2 months, is minimum in my opinion. And that goes to show you guys fibula fractures, right? Your fibula only takes about 10 to 15% of your body weight,
Right.
so you can kind of walk on it and it not be incredibly painful.
Yep.
Whereas if it was something like your tibia or something like that, it's not walking.
No.
All right, another guy with an injury from a clear hip drop tackle. When they put this out in the offseason, I was like, how the hell are they going to officiate it? Turns out they're just not. They're just going to find the shit out of you, which is okay, I guess. That's what they want to do. So Joe Mixon, TJ Edwards, hip drop tackle on him. Yep. It looked to me like concern for high ankle sprain. Now, he did return to the game, but he only got one touch and got subbed out pretty quickly and looked pretty limited. No practice yet at this point. No him or Dameon Pierce. So if you're late to this news, Cam Akers looks like he's going to get the majority of the run just by default. Right. Which, if you checked out the Thursday night episode of Propcast, I will promo another SGPN show there. I started a segment with them where I told you guys, hey, you're probably going to want to grab. It was at plus 250 anytime touchdown on Tuesday when we put that out there. Now it's at plus 100. So good time to kind of be aware of these things early on as we put it out. Another reason, also follow us on the socials there and make sure you get the information ASAP.
Right.
All right. One with a little bit less concern, but for this week, potentially, Tajay Spears picked up a minor ankle sprain. What are we thinking there?
Yeah, I mean, luckily for the Titans, they still have Pollard back there, and he's really been that back that we kind of saw a couple years ago in Dallas. He doesn't quite have the burst that he showed back then, but he's been a very serviceable back up until this point. I think Tajay Spears, that they'll be a little bit more cautious with him this week. Give Pollard the majority of the work, as long as he's continuing to do what he's been doing over the last couple of weeks. But yeah, like you said, it's everything's showing minor ankle sprain. So I don't think this is one of those high ankle sprain things that we have to be concerned with for 3-4 weeks. This might be a 1 week thing. He'll probably be back to normal next week, but he might still show some things this week. It's really hard to tell, but for me, with that 2-back system, I think Pollard will end up getting the majority of the looks down there in Tennessee.
Yeah, low ankle sprain, usually not super concerning. He didn't practice yesterday, limited practice today.
Right.
I think there's a chance he plays, but for me, it's Pollard. I would not be rolling him out there. They were already spitting time. If he's banged up, I think they just give more of the carries to Pollard there.
Yep.
A guy who also returned to practice today, T. Higgins, Mr. T. Higgins, Mr. Hamstring, picked up a limited practice today. Assuming he plays this week, let's say things go well, he practices again Friday, he suits up on Monday night against Washington. Are you playing him?
Knowing that Washington might still have the worst defense in the league, I would probably lean towards it, even though he obviously hasn't shown anything up to this point. It might be one of those things that, depending on who else you have available, you lean away from T. Higgins. But I think this is where Joe Burrow in that Cincy pass game really starts back to where they were before Joe Burrow got injured last year.
Yeah, look, I like the Bengals here, but for me, I'm staying away from T. Higgins. Like you said, it's a high risk, high reward play.
Yep.
But with the way hamstring injuries are, high re-injury risk, return those first 2 weeks back returning to play. So, and we'll see him if he picks up a full practice tomorrow. Maybe I'll sway me a little bit. But right now, my risk tolerance is not quite there for T. Higgins because I think Jamar Chase is going to have a hell of a game. But you're right, that Washington defense is so bad, it might let 2 guys just go absolutely off. So if you're in a real sticky spot and you need a boom play for Monday night, maybe you roll them out there. But if you're looking for, a consistent, a safer floor, I would probably stay away from T. Higgins. But it's good to disagree because that is what makes this fun. Couple other injuries here, big injuries. Right tackle for the Denver Broncos, Mike McGlinchey, out on IR there. MCL tear, that's already a bad team with a rookie quarterback with a shaky offensive line that now has one of their starters out.
Yep.
So, hey, if you're into the sack stuff like I am, if you're one of those defensive guys that likes to get down and dirty in the sack prop market, when they release the Bucks, I will be all over that. Okay, let's get to some bigger names here. Deebo Samuel picked up a calf strain. Looks like they said he's going to be out multiple weeks. Where are we at here?
Yeah, especially with another calf Achilles related thing already in their building. I think they will be a little bit more cautious with Deebo. Obviously, without CMC, without Deebo, Purdy is not the same. That offense is not the same. But at the same time, they're not necessarily looking to win week 3, week 4, week 5. They want to win at the end of the season when it really counts, especially getting into the postseason. So I think, like you said, I would not be surprised if he misses 2-3 weeks. And even after then, this is something to kind of monitor. We kind of are already seeing these Achilles calf related things with CMC. He didn't do a whole lot through training camp, didn't do anything through the preseason. And then obviously pops up week 1 at the very last minute. Hey, he's out. And it looks like he's going to be out again this week. So, with Deebo, didn't get that IR card, which is good, but I expect him to be out for at least the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then we'll talk about somebody that's supposed to be on the other side. Cooper Kupp, confirmed high ankle sprain. Is going to be in a boot this week, and they didn't put him on IR. Now, I don't think this is just straight positive news. There's limitations to how many players you can put on IR.
Right.
And because the Rams are so beat the hell up, I think this is more that situation. I'm not expecting him back in 3 weeks and ready to go.
Which is killing my fantasy team. I'd love to put him on the IR, but
it is a bitch for that. What do you think? If he comes back in 3 weeks, are you trusting him to roll him out there that first week?
No. I think we've talked about that high ankle timeline many times. Usually we're expecting them to be out at minimum 3, probably 4, maybe 5, 6. And then even after that, probably a couple weeks of a performance dip. So I don't expect Cooper Kupp to be really full bore until week 7, week 8.
Yeah. All right, folks, we are going to bop around and I'm going to go through some quick, hey, I think they're going to play, I think they're not going to play here in a second. But if you have any guys you are extra concerned about, definitely drop them now or drop them anytime throughout the show, and we will do our best to go ahead and hit those guys. Let's talk Tua. Again, I'm going to go real fast. Put on the IR with a concussion, so out at least 4 weeks there. Evan Ingram is tracking like he is not going to play again, has not practiced with a hamstring. Same thing with A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown has not practiced. He's likely going to be out 2 to 3 weeks. Keenan Allen has not practiced with his heel issue. Want more information there, but it's not trending well. Tight end David Njoku has got a high ankle sprain, no practice. I don't expect him to be out there. Jake Ferguson does have a chance to play. He's been limited, and he's a bit of a risk coming off that, but it looks like he's trending like he's going to play. Jordan Love, let's talk about this one. Jordan Love, limited practice back-to-back off that supposedly significant MCL strain. They gave a 3 to 6 week kind of recovery timeline. It's only the second week. What are you thinking? Does he play?
I hope not. I'm not a big Malik Willis fan either, but just knowing the injury side of what he went through, obviously he got the MCL tag, but we were concerned with the high ankle related stuff with Jordan Love too. So whether it was just MCL, maybe high ankle sprain on top of that, 2 weeks, holy smokes, you're really pushing it at that point. Even 3 weeks, 4 weeks is questionable for me. So if it were me, I would say stay away from him at least this week, probably next week, potentially the week after.
Yeah. Look, I think it's NFL week 3. I think the Packers were they're 1-1, but they won. They looked good last week, and they're going up against the Titans team who is also 1-1. Like, I think they can have a similar approach and do well. But if I had to predict it, I would say that he doesn't play this week, but he definitely plays next week. We will see. There's been a lot of videos that are circulating. He's only been like half speed. I don't know why everyone's getting super excited with him being back at practice. It's a good development, but I haven't seen him done anything that's shown me like, oh yeah, he's definitely good to go. Like he can definitely evade the rush and kind of move around a little bit. So for me, I'm interested to see what the Packers do, but like you said, if he's out there this week, I'm definitely fading Jordan Love there. Nico Collins back at practice with a hip and foot injury. He finished the game last week. He should be good to go. Chiefs are pretty healthy there. Justin Herbert limited in practice after not practicing yesterday with a bit of an ankle injury. His ankle was taped up pretty well there. I know they're going up against the Steelers in their home opener. It's going to be interesting to see. I think his mobility is going to be limited at best. So, are they just going to try to run the ball? What are you thinking about Herbert?
I'll probably touch on this a little bit later, but definitely a concern. Definitely a concern with that run-heavy offense going up against a maybe best defense in the NFL with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I am definitely concerned for Herbert, but we'll see what old Jimbo.
More to follow. More to follow on that one, definitely. Aaron Jones looks like he should be good to go. Jordan Addison looks like he's going to be out another week, which is probably a good call there. Roman Wilson, rookie for the Steelers, upgraded to a full participant. We might see him for the first time. George Kittle, a big one. DNP today after full practice yesterday. Tells me he hurt his hamstring yesterday in practice. That's tough. That's going to be hard for him to play. And if he does, high re-injury risk there. And that is it. So there is our injury rundown. Again, folks, if you have questions on guys, definitely let us know. But we got to get to our bets, and we got to get to this game later tonight. Right. So before we jump over to the Thursday Night Football preview, hey, we got to tell you what we got going over here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Look, folks, as a smaller independent company, now the Degen family is big and growing, but there's a war right now. There's a war against corporate gambling, and it's heating up. We need your help. You need to do your damn part. Just take a couple seconds, rate, review the Degen Docs, pop over to some of the other shows on the network, help a brother out, and tell a friend. Word of mouth is the way to go. We don't have the millions of dollars in advertising and budget that DraftKings and all these other bullshit ass networks have. So we need you. We need our loyal followers and our friends. If you've had a good time hanging out with us, talking ball, making some money, do us a favor, like, subscribe, tell a friend. All right, we're back, and we are talking Thursday Night Football in a fun one. We've got we had a division rivalry game last week. I'm not going to say I was on the right side and Derek was on the wrong side, but I was on the right side with the Buffalo Bills, and Derek's pick looked like shit. And he got Tua killed, so congratulations there. But we got New England Patriots heading to East Rutherford for the home opener for the New York Jets. Do you remember the last time Aaron Rodgers was on the New York Jets field?
That was about a year ago, plus a couple weeks.
He was with that iconic flag running out, man, and he lasted.
Didn't last very long.
Did not go very well for Rodgers there, but we got the Patriots plus 6.5, plus 220 on the money line. Last I checked, Jets obviously minus 6.5, minus 270 there. All right, let's go ahead and let's talk. How do you see this game going down? Let's just go ahead and talk your plays here.
Honestly, I have gone back and forth with the line multiple times over the last few hours and ended up basically just staying away from the line itself. I ended up taking the under because the Jets defense is pretty good. Haven't shown the hype that we were all giving them, but New England Patriots defense pretty good, especially running the ball. And I think that's where the Jets have really shined so far is more so on the ground than through the air. Aaron Rodgers hasn't been all that in a bag of chips quite yet. The Pats, I don't know if they know how to throw a pass downfield up to this point. I think Ramondre Stevenson averages like 22 carries a game. So I really expect this to be a pretty low scoring game, a lot of rushing. Props potentially hitting here, especially with Mosley being out today. Yep. So I like Ramondre Stevenson tonight. I also like Hunter Henry. Again, he had a big week last week, so I like him. On the Jets side, I like Breece Hall, but Braylon Allen definitely worries me to take too much of the Breece Hall props. So I really think the under is probably the place to go for tonight's game.
Yeah. Is that still 38.5 there?
I think so. It was before we jumped on here.
All right. Perfect. Oof. I'm just
39 right now.
39?
39.
There you go. Get yourself an extra half a point, brother. Don't short yourself short. All right. Hell yeah. Well, look, I know you said you've been back and forth on a side. I'm not. I'm on the Patriots plus 6.5. I really like the Pats here. Here's why. So there's been a lot of things made about this Patriots offensive line being beat up, and they are. They are going to be out left guard City So and left tackle Vidarian Lowe. However, City So has been already out the first 2 games, so that's not really a change.
It's true.
Now, yes, losing your left tackle, not great. But let's look at where the Jets' injuries are. Hassan Reddick, out. Jermaine Johnson, out for the season. Those are the 2 edge rush guys that are going to be directly opposing them. And now CJ Mosley's out. And I was talking about this all week. He didn't practice all week. He had a toe injury. It's a short week. He's been the Jets' leading tackler for the past 3 seasons in a row by a wide margin. He is the heartbeat of that defense. Now, it looks like, looking at these inactives, David Andrews and Mike Onwenu, who are questionable, 2 starting offensive linemen for the Patriots, will play. Yep. It looks like Jabril Peppers will play. Now, they have a big defensive injury as well with Jawan Bentley, one of their defensive captains on the linebacker position. He's out too. But look, man, I wanted to be impressed by the Jets. We put money on the Jets this year. We both liked them to win the AFC East. I wanted to be impressed by the Jets. They have just not shown me anything to be impressive.
Yeah.
They got their ass kicked by San Francisco. The Titans game, that came down to the Titans were driving on a goal line stand they had to make, right, on Will Levis. Right. And I think the Patriots are going to be able to run the ball. The Jets are giving up over 150 yards on the ground, and they're going to be out, again, their 2 edge rushers and their stud guy in the back. In the middle. I know Quinn Williams and Javon Ginlaw are pretty good, but look, man, Patriots have been able to run the ball. They have a plan. I think they shorten this game. On your point, I do like the under. It's not my favorite play, but I think it does go under. I really like the Patriots here tonight. And you got any props for us?
Let's see here. What all did I take?
I'll give out mine while you're looking.
Yeah,
there.
go ahead.
Going off that, Ramondre Stevenson anytime touchdown. I was plus 135. I think it jumped to plus 125 or something like that. Over 70.5 rushing yards, plus 110. Over 100.5, plus 425. And look, I'm not just sticking to Ramondre. Antonio Gibson had 11 rushes for 90 yards last week. His over 25.5 was still plus money last time I checked. And Hunter Henry, over 4 catches, 3.5 at plus 100, 50 plus receiving yards at plus 225. He leads the team in targets and he leads the team in receiving yards by over 100. I mean, by almost 100, I should say. So
he is their one option by far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else you got? Anything else on the prop side Thursday night?
Yeah. So I took a couple of similar ones. I took Hunter Henry over receptions. I also took Ramondre Stevenson's over 17.5 attempts on the ground.
I really like that.
I took Hunter Henry's anytime touchdown. It was a little bit better juice than Stevenson. But yeah, those were the big ones.
Yeah. And then for my folks who love the defensive side of the ball, I took Jelani Tavai under 7.5 total tackles at minus 105. He's only had 4 tackles in the first 2 games. Now, look, he's a capable linebacker, but I think this number is just too inflated. I think they just said, hey, look, Jawan Bentley's out, so he's going to get all the tackles. Kyle Duggar and Jabril Peppers are great safeties down in the box. You got Raekwon McMillan there as the running mate. So I don't think Tavai is all of a sudden going to, explode. He's only got 8 tackles in 2 games for the whole year. I don't think he gets to 8 here. The other one, I haven't seen the line yet. I know over on Underdog, we're going to talk about it, but Jamie Sherwood, he is going to be the guy who steps up for CJ Mosley. When CJ Mosley went out last week, he quickly came in and racked up 12 tackles. I think I saw Underdog has his tackles at his fantasy projection set at 8 total tackles. I think that's way too low. So if you can find a book there on Sherwood's over tackles, definitely recommend.
Last one that I wanted to throw out was Garrett Wilson's under again, 65.5. I think Christian Gonzalez locks him down. He'll follow all over the field, and Garrett Wilson does tend to flip sides. They'll throw him in the slot every once in a while. Christian Gonzalez is an absolute stud corner for the Pats. So I'm going under on Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, no, I like that. You faded him last week and it worked. And hey, I don't mind that this week. All right, folks, we're moving over to the fantasy space here. We're going to talk about our week 3 love and hate scale. So these are the guys that we want to target in fantasy. Hey, we think they have a smash matchup. Or these guys, hey, I would probably be staying away. You want to take which side do you want to take this week?
I'll go with the like side.
All right, go ahead, Mr.
So,
Happy Go Lucky.
Brandon Ayuk might be the only first string guy for the Niners left.
Yeah.
Especially with the news coming out with George Kittle being beat up in practice, not practicing today. So I expect Brandon Ayuk to finally find his way in the Niners offense. Deontay Foreman ended up leading the Cleveland Browns in attempts last week. Jerome Ford didn't even sniff an attempt inside the red zone last week. So with Pierre Strong being beat up, give me Deontay Foreman to have a big week. And then Jamar Chase. We already talked about Cincinnati going up against that horrendous Commanders offense with T. Higgins kind of coming back. Like I said, I like him, but Jamar Chase is still that dude over in Cincinnati. So I think he has a big day, and hopefully this is that week to bop over 200 yards so I can go ahead and cash that futures prop.
Yeah. Oh, well, going over to the not so love side, the hate side. Let's start in Green Bay. We're talking about both Josh Jacobs and their wide receivers there. Look, the wide receivers is easy. Tennessee's pass defense is the best in the league right now.
Yep.
They are a really good group. I know everyone's just been focused on Will Levis looking like an idiot and doing Will Levis things, but that defense is quietly playing really well.
Yeah.
We're projecting Malik Willis to be the starter. So if he is the starter, one, you're already limited there, starting off on the wrong foot. Now you're going up against a really good secondary. And why you want to fade Josh Jacobs, in our opinion, is that they can just load the box. You know, you match their cornerbacks up one-on-one with, Watson, Reed, and Dobbs, and then you just load the box. And hey, last week, the Packers basically ran student body right, student body left, whether it was Willis or Josh Jacobs. I mean, they just ran the ball and just consistently ran the ball. Right. I think you could do that with a Colts defense that was beat up. I think this Tennessee defense with Jeffrey Simmons and some big boys up front, the rookie from Texas and Sweat there, I think that it's going to be a little bit harder for that to do that. And, LaFleur is, look, that game plan last week was awesome. He's a great coach.
Yep.
But kind of showed your hand, man. I don't know what else they're going to be. I don't trust Malik Willis to throw against this defense, and that just means a lot of stack boxes. And Jaden Daniels, rookie, has looked good on his feet, but now he goes up against a much better defense in Cincinnati, and I think that he's going to get himself into some trouble here. Look, we all saw Cam Taylor-Britt's one-handed interception last week. Hell of a play. It's a solid secondary. This Bengals team's 0-2. They're pissed off. They're mad. I think they absolutely put it on him. I mean, hey, is there a potential he gets some garbage time? Maybe, but I think it's going to be a tough day for the rookie Jaden Daniels, and I think he's going to have, a couple turnovers, and those linebackers in Wilson and Pratt, and I'm not sure if I really want to be running against them, and you got Hubbard and Henderson on the outside there coming off the edge. So those are our love-hate plays for fantasy this week. Again, hey, if you agree, disagree, drop a comment. Let us know. Let us know how you're feeling out there, folks. Let's get to the props. We're back in the betting space. It is not week 1. Looks like we'll have to fire the intern on that one there. But we're going to our props of the week, folks. These are our 3 favorite props, and I will let you go first, my friend.
So we've already talked about how we are kind of fading the Green Bay offense really as a whole. I think with that vaunted Tennessee defense to this point, bringing in a guy like Snead.
L'Jarius Sneed, yeah.
Yeah, L'Jarius Sneed has made such a difference on that Tennessee defense. It's unreal up to this point. So give me Malik Willis, who isn't the best throwing quarterback to begin with, to throw at least one pick at -115. I love Brock Purdy in this spot. He is leading the NFL in passing yards up to this point. Yes, a ton of his dudes are kind of, beat up, but the Rams are as well. And I'm going to go ahead and juice this a little bit and take the over 250 alt.
Is that all it is? Wow. I like that. That's a nice number.
Yeah, I think his original prop was 225. Yeah, minus 120. So give me an extra 25 yards to give me plus 150. And then Skylar Thompson down in Miami. Yes, he's the backup quarterback. They've given him a little bit of extra time coming off of the Thursday game last week. He did get a rush in that game and got 4 yards. So I think, that Miami offense is going to look a little bit different with Tua not being in there. I would not expect or would not be surprised, for him to get 2 or 3 yard or attempts and get over 10.5 yards. Again, took the alt line there at plus 130.
It's a sneaky one there. Yeah, you got a quarterback who hasn't played a ton. If you start to panic a little bit, you just tuck it and run.
Exactly.
We talk about it with rookie quarterbacks all the time.
Exactly.
You tuck it and run, and you're talking about a guy who's kind of getting thrust in there. I know he played a little bit last year, but still, I think 10.5 could be one rush, right? Lane opens up and it's there. Sticking with the quarterbacks running the ball a little bit, Patty Mahomes over 20.5 rush yards at plus 110. Look, we talked about it. Pacheco is out, and Patty Mahomes is their second leading rusher, averaging about 16 yards a game. It's Sunday Night Football going against Atlanta. It's prime time. I think Patty Mahomes, when he needs to, he can tuck it and run. And this is a Falcons defense that gave up 50-plus yards to Justin Fields and 85 yards to Jalen Hurts. So there's definitely some, guys that are not sticking to their passing lanes. And I get it. Mahomes isn't quite the rusher that Justin Fields and Jalen Hurts are, but he is definitely capable, and he will make a defense pay, especially on third down, if they're not being disciplined with their rush lanes, which the Falcons have proven in the first 2 weeks. That's not what they're focused on. Yep. So give me Patty Mahomes over 20.5 rush yards at plus 110. And then going back to beating up on the Rams because, hey, they're already beat the hell up. Jordan Mason over 100.5 rush yards at plus 125. His lowest rushing total so far has been 100 yards. He's averaging well over 100 yards. And we talked about it. Hey, potentially no Kittle, definitely no Debo, definitely no CMC. You have a Rams defense that's given up almost 200 yards on the ground. I mean, they're just decimated all over the place. I think it's going to be a lot of Brandon Ayuk, and it's going to be a lot of Jordan Mason. We're just going to run the ball there. So Jordan Mason over 100.5 rush yards at plus 125. And then, as much as I was picking on the Rams here, I'm going to go on the other side of this. Jared Verse over a quarter of a sack at plus 135. Brock Purdy has been sacked 8 times this season in just 2 games. They gave up 6 sacks last week. Now, Purdy, I think he's going to have a couple moments where, hey, if you can't check it down to Debo, if you can't check it down to Ayuk, if you can't check it down to Kittle, he's going to be thinking a little bit back there. And I think that this Rams pass rush is going to be able to get to him here. I mean, both these sides are beat the hell up. So this could be, this game really has a huge amount of variability. But I like the fact that, hey, Purdy's going to be thinking back there. And this offensive line just gave up 6 sacks last week. So I like Jared Verse to get a quarter of a sack. A half a sack gets this done. All right. We got our best bets and our Degen parlay coming up. But before we get to that, let's tell you about Underdog Fantasy. That is right, folks. Underdog Fantasy, where you can use promo code SGPNDOC for a deposit bonus match up to $1,000. Super easy. All you got to do, if you're a new user, if you don't have Underdog, simply go over to Underdog, sign up, use promo code SGPNDOC, deposit $1,000, and boom, instantly $1,000 right in your account just for you. They also have awesome specials and picks and everything. So sign up with promo code SGPNDOC to claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SGPNDOC. And of course, because they do so much for us, we're going to do some for them because we love over there on Underdog. So we're going to tell you about our Underdog play of the week here. Why don't you tell us about 2, and then I'll round us out there.
Let's do it. So let me start down at the bottom with Mr. Sam Darnold. We're going lower than 246.5 passing and rushing yards. We know Sam Darnold's not much on the ground. And prior to the first couple weeks of the season, wasn't great through the air. But for whatever reason, some sort of special Sam Darnold's come out the first couple weeks. Folks, it's still Sam Darnold. He's still the same guy. Let's start to see the regression back towards the mean with Sam Darnold, and we'll go lower than 246.5. And then we already talked about Tyjae Spears being beat up a little bit with Tony Pollard. Give me Tony Pollard for higher than 62.5 rushing yards this week. Big fan of Tennessee going into this week, and especially with Spears being beat up, I would not be surprised if Pollard ends up with an extra 3 or 4 carries to get him over that number.
Love it. Love it. Picking off where Derek left off there, Jamie Sherwood, told you about it. CJ Mosley's out. This guy had 12 tackles when he came into the game for Mosley last week. He's a capable backup as far as the tackles. Now, he's not the same player, but there's going to be a ton of opportunity there. Again, I repeat, CJ Mosley, he was the 3-time leading tackler for the Jets in the past 3 seasons. Yep. So there's a lot of opportunities there. I think 8 is way too low. I think he gets in double digits there. And then who is the leading receiver for the Indianapolis Colts?
Oh, that would be Alec Pierce.
Interesting. Yeah, he's got 180 yards. He's averaging 90 yards a game, and it's only higher than 27.5 rush and receiving because, we took the rush receiving because the receiving projection is exactly the same. So might as well, just in case some crazy shit happens, they give Alec Pierce the ball on the ground. Look, I understand. You got Michael Pittman Jr., you got A.D. Mitchell, you got potentially Josh Downs coming back this week.
Yep.
Anthony Richardson and Alec Pierce clearly have a connection. I don't know what it is. The guy's got a touchdown in each game. I mean, he had 3 catches for 125 yards last week. I think he gets this done very easily. So we've got Jamie Sherwood higher than 8 tackles. We got Tony Pollard higher than 62.5 rush yards. We've got Alec Pierce higher than 27.5 rush receiving yards. And we've got Sam Darnold lower than 246.5 pass and rush yards. Put those all together, folks. 4 plays, 4 cashes, and we've got 10x your money. All right. Let's get to the favorite part of the show because we are giving out our best bets. That is right, folks. Coming off a 3-1 week for myself, I'm looking to get us back here in the positive. And don't worry, although Derek was 2-2 last week with his locks, he did cash a nice 3-1 Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the money line. So coming off some profitable weeks here, let's keep it rolling. So we've got about 10 minutes to kick off, so we are going to get through this a bit quick here. But Chicago Bears, Indianapolis Colts under 43.5 at -112 last we checked there. Look, the Bears defense is solid. We all saw that against the Texans on, Monday night?
Yep.
They are a solid team. Their offense, Caleb Williams, not doing so hot.
Nope.
Same thing with the Colts, man. The Colts defense has been beat up, but when they get beat up, it's through the ground. I mean, even last week when they let up all those yards, it was still a 10-16 game against Green Bay. Their offense looks broken.
But the Bears' leading rusher is Caleb Williams.
Yeah,
who hasn't done anything.
Exactly. So, I mean, look, the way you beat the Colts is through the ground, and can the Bears even do that? So I just think this is going to be an ugly, 10-13 game, something like that. Both these offenses are really struggling. I think both defenses ahead of the offenses there. Baltimore Ravens, -1 to get it done in Dallas there. Did the Baltimore Ravens win games in the regular season? I do not see them starting 0-3. They're getting healthier. They had some guys that were out at practice yesterday. They all returned. I think that they're able to go into Dallas and beat up a defense that just gave up 40-plus points to the Saints. Ravens, let's be honest, they're 0-2, but Isaiah Likely's toe is a tiny bit smaller. If he has half a shoe size less, they win that game. And then they really let that game get away from them. They were really up on the Las Vegas Raiders and kind of gave that away late. So they're pretty close to being 2-0. Tampa Bay Bucks, man, they're my team right now, and I'm not fading this team while they're hot. Mike McGlinchey, right tackle for the Denver Broncos, out on the IR. You got a rookie quarterback in Bo Nix going on the road who he's shown nothing to me that excites me. I mean, I think Baker is he's cooking right now. That defense is playing really scrappy. I mean, hey, I think this is a similar game to when they played Washington week 1 and they take care of them pretty easily at home. So I will have them lay in the big number. And then the Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Atlanta Falcons. I think everyone is coming off of that game we just saw with the Atlanta Falcons, and everyone is saying so that actually was a Monday night game, excuse me. But I think that was way more about the Eagles messing up. I mean, hey, Mr. Where is he? Mr. Benedict Barkley there with that drop costing the Eagles a game. Can't say I hate that, but I think the Chiefs right now, other than Pacheco, look, it's Andy Reid who's got time to prepare. They'll figure it out on the ground. And I'm not bought into this Falcons team. I thought that game was a lot more about the Eagles letting it go than the Falcons getting it done. So those are my locks of the week. And what do you got, brother?
So let's start with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yes, I am a fan of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yes, they've been on a little bit of a run, even though they've only scored one offensive touchdown. But they are they're only favored by 1.5 right now. So to me, this is going to be one of those like 9 to 10 games, 13 to 14, 13 games. I'm going to go ahead and take the money line, just take that point off the board at minus 120. I think to this point, yes, the Chargers have been playing really well. They've blown out a couple of pretty poor teams. I think the Chargers, by and large, are like a poor man's Steelers to this point. Yes, they have Justin Herbert there, but he hasn't practiced hardly at all this week. You know, he's beat up. From a rushing standpoint, JK has popped off the first couple of games. The Pittsburgh Steelers are one of the best rush defenses to this point in the league. Giving the Pittsburgh Steelers to win their first game at Heinz Field, Acrisure Stadium, whatever we're calling it, I'm still a Heinz Field guy. Give me the Bucks Broncos over 41. Seb, you just talked about this, how the Bucks might break this on their own, especially with the Broncos, struggling offensively. They did put up some points that first game. They're actually somehow. Oh, no, just kidding. Never mind. Read the wrong stat. But anyways, the Bucks put up 37 in the first game. Almost took care of that by themselves. And now that the Broncos offensive line is beat up with
McGlinchey.
Yeah, that guy. McGlinchey out. I think the Bucks get a hold of Nix. He starts making some bad decisions, and the Bucks run away with this, like you had mentioned earlier. Give me the Houston Texans at -2. Again, regression to the mean with Sam Darnold. The Houston Texans have one of the best pass rushes with Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter getting after the quarterback. So I think they cover this pretty easily, to be honest. And then the 49ers Rams, give me the under at 43.5. I think both teams are beat the hell up. I think this is a defensive battle. And yeah, that's really about it for the Niners and the Rams. I think it's one of those division things that, usually we would expect this to be a pretty high scoring game with all of the offensive weapons that these teams typically have. They're not there.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to be more one of those defensive division type of games that are pretty close. I'm kind of leaning Rams on this one, just because they are starting to get a couple people back. But yeah, give me the Rams Niners under at -108.
Love it. Love it. Love it. All right, folks. Couple reads, and then don't leave yet, because we got our DGen parlay here, and we're coming with some
bangers.
Nice juicy numbers there. We're brought to you by BetUS. Bet with the best in the business. BetUS. BetUS has been around for more than 30 years. You can bet anywhere. It's available in tons of locations, including internationally. BetUS just launched their all-new live betting experience with easy deposit using cryptocurrency and getting lightning fast payouts. Use our link to sign up and get a 125% deposit bonus on your first 3 deposits. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. Promo code SGPN, so they know we sent you. BetUS, America's favorite sports book. And Rhythm. Of course, we're talking about Rhythm. Those are our friends with the models. And no, get your mind out of the gutter. We are not talking about those models. We're talking about sports betting predictive models, because they are the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that helps provide you bettors of all levels the ability to build custom predictive betting models in seconds and get predictions for betting on money lines, spreads, totals, and props. Rhythm AI had a great NFL week 2, 22.5% ROI on NFL spread bets, and a 44.3% ROI on NFL money line bets. Rhythm was on the dogs, and the dogs were barking. So claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. All right, folks, the moment you've been waiting for here as we are getting close to kickoff. You got 5 minutes. So Mine's pretty easy. All right. Well, looks like you're going first. There you go.
I'm up. So we've already talked about Deontay Foreman, how he got all of the red zone carries last week. I expect him to get in the end zone this week. Javonte Williams, one of those forgotten souls out in Denver. In order to hit the over, we got to have some points somewhere. Give it to Javonte Williams inside the red zone, and hopefully he scores. Hey, that's a Panther on the anytime touchdown list. That's kind of crazy. But Bryce Young got benched. Give me the red rifle and Andy Dalton to throw to another old guy and Adam Thielen for a touchdown. And then Michael Wilson and Kyler have some sort of a connection out there in Arizona. So give me Michael Wilson to score as well in what I think is going to be a pretty high scoring game. So if those 4 guys score, pays out 135-1.
Whew, that easy. 4 guys to touch Bader. 135-1.
4 touchdowns.
Love it. Well, I took a similar approach with a touchdown.
Hey, 4 touchdowns.
That's true. 4 touchdowns. You're right. But 2 guys to get there. Deontay Foreman. Look, I painfully understand how shitty the Giants just are right now. I could definitely see Daniel Jones having a couple turnovers. I can definitely see Deontay Foreman. Look, Browns are getting both their left tackle, Jedrick Willis, and we've got giving the thumbs up there. Jack Conklin's going to be back too. Offensive line's getting healthy. Giants giving up 5 yards of rush. Deontay Foreman's the Goldman back. I think he can easily get 2 touchdowns. And Zamir White going up against another awful defense against Carolina. I understand the red rifle is going to be there, so they might need to score a couple more points, but their defense is terrible. Their defense was actually pretty solid last year. It's taken a giant step back. So Zamir White, Deontay Foreman, 2 touchdowns apiece, 79-1.
I like it.
That easy.
Speaking of Zamir White, also might want to look at his rushing alts. I took his rushing ladder earlier from 60 all the way up to 110. When I put it in, I think 110 was 10-1. I think it got bet down to 950. But anyways, just throwing that out there too.
There you go. All right. I love it. All right. We are wrapping up here, folks, because we got a Monday Night Football game and we got some money to win. You got anything for the good people before we get out of here?
I'm out.
Whiskey's done. So. Whiskey's done. So that means it is time to get the hell out of here. Hey, folks, we appreciate you hopping on with us again. Monday and Thursdays, well, let's call it 7:15. Around 7:15, we're going live on X and the YouTube. So definitely go ahead and check us out. And hey, if you hung with us for this whole hour, drop us a like, drop us a subscribe, follow us on all these beautiful socials and whatever you got. We're even on the TikTok with the young kids. So definitely give us a follow. We appreciate you. And hey, folks, you know what they say. A lock a day keeps the bookie away. And we've got your prescription.
Let it ride.
The Degen Docs, we are out of here. What's up, Degen's? Doc here. As a proud member of the U.S. Army and a lover of football, sometimes those two things cross over on here. But as you probably already know, as a lowly captain, these are just my opinions. These are not opinions that are representative of the entire DoD or the U.S. Army. The same thing goes for any references to any commercial products or hyperlinks. Again, that does not constitute an endorsement from the DoD or the Army. I hope you enjoyed the show, and as always, let it ride, baby.